Hello friends, thank you so much for being here with me today. Today on my video, I am going to attempt to share with you what I have learned so far about coloring my images from Heartfelt Creations digital products. So I want to have a disclaimer right here at the beginning. I am no expert, so I am learning right along with the rest of you how to manipulate and work with these digital images. But I did want to share with you what I have managed to figure out so far and some of the difficulties I've run into, how I go about troubleshooting those difficulties, and what has worked and what hasn't. So let's go ahead and change the screen. And today, instead of seeing my workspace like last week, you're going to see my screen. So let's go ahead and get changed. All right, so this is my screen, and you can see right here I have a little icon that says My Craft Studio Elite. Now, this is a free program. If you go to Google and just type in My Craft Studio Elite, you can download this program for free. And it is a program made by a company in the UK, but I have found it pretty helpful for some things. I know a lot of people are using different ways, but so far this is the one that I've had the best luck with to do certain things. So, like I said, we're all still learning. So let's go ahead and open this program. Oh, there it goes. And like I said, this is completely free. So as soon as it opens, right over here, it shows a window that is my computer. Like, these are the things that are on my computer. Remember last week, if you follow my cursor, remember that folder down here when I would double click on that? When I click on that, it would open a folder. This is pretty much that folder. It shows a few other programs and things too, but it's pretty much, I can get to the things that I got to in this folder. It automatically brings them into this program, which I really like. That's part of what makes it easy, because I can easily access these things. All right, real quick before I open anything up, well, maybe I should go ahead and open. So I'm gonna scroll down here, and remember those files? I had one that was named Heartfelt Digital Images. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. All right, when I click on that, it shows me that I have Butterfly Medley, Everyday Heroes, and Peacock Paisley. So I'm still working with just these three, although I plan on adding many more. And you can see right under it, I have a file called My Craft Studio Designs. So this I have gone ahead and created on my desktop so that I have some place to put the things that I changed the color of. Instead of putting those images that I have changed the colors back into my originals of Heartfelt, I created another place for those to go. So that is something you might want to do if you decide to do this. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open Peacock Paisley. I'm going to open the Peacock Paisley elements, and there they are. Okay, so they always open with a little piece of paper on top of them. I wish I could get that to go away, but I don't know how. So we're not going to worry about that now. This is my template where I will do my changing. And before I move something over, I'm going to show you a few things. If you follow my cursor down here along the bottom, there centimeters is checked. So I can change that to inches. And there we go. So I have that changed. Now, this little mode right here, see where it says origin mode? I'm going to click that, and it put my 0 up here in the corner now. When that is not clicked, the 0 is in the middle. Okay, so that's personal preference, how you want to be able, but I want to be able to measure my items. So I am going to click that origin mode and put my 0 right up here in the corner. All right, so now to get an image from over here onto my template, it is so easy. I'm literally going to drag and drop. So I'm going to take this, drag it over here, and drop it onto my template. It's as easy as that. All right, you see these little corners. That makes me be able to change the size. Now, while it's in this program, I'm not really concerned about the size. So for now, I'm just going to leave it right here at about the size it came in on. Let's go back over here to the left, and you see there's brushes, and I'm going to go ahead and click through these tabs just so you can see what they are. Brushes, I'm not going to use that. Layers, I'm not going to use that. And effects, I am going to use effects. Okay, we have basic, we have color, blur, emboss, swirl, boost, faded edges, softer edges, and vignette. I am going to, in today's program, I'm just going to be using the color. So under the color, we have hue, rainbow, and saturation. In order for any of these to work, your image has to be selected. So let me show you. If I take this and I move it around, like it's not even letting me click on it, okay? Because this is not selected. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the image. Now it's selected. So I can move these. If I change the hue button, it's going to change all the colors to the same thing. So I'm just going to slide this. See how all of it turns red as soon as I click on it? And I'm going to slide it. Everything is changing, but it's changing at the same color for everything. You see that? Now, it could be that that's the way I want it. And if that was so, I would just stop. Whatever color you want, you just stop. And from here, I could make this purple right now, just like this. But I'm going to move this all the way back to the beginning. See over here where it says 0? I've moved it back to its original state. Underneath hue, we have rainbow. If we take rainbow, now it's going to change it, but it's going to change it keeping the colors that are there. It's going to change the colors all at the same time. So let me just show you rather than trying to tell you, because I don't know the right words to tell you. But see, as I slide this, it's changing everything, but it's keeping the contrast and the different images the same. So as you can see, I'm just moving it through. See, like right here, we still have our green leaves. We have pink flowers. It's not turning all of it to pink. Right? And there, we're back to original. Or we can take it all the way down to rainbow. All right. I'm going to take this back to its red. Well, let's do blue. We're going to hold it right here, blue. Now, underneath is a button called saturation. To me, this is kind of too garish and bright. So the way you change that is with the saturation. If I go higher, it's going to get more garish and bright. If I go lower, it's going to tone it down. You see that? It's going to add more grays. So right there kind of is a nice gray and blue. I can maybe put this on chrome. So I'm going to keep it just like this. All right? So I'm clicking out here in the grid, and that makes it unhighlighted. Now let's say I hate this and I want to get rid of it. I choose it. I can go up here to the taskbar along the top, and if you follow my cursor, I just highlighted delete. If I clicked on delete, it would erase it from my palette. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh no, I didn't want to erase it. So right up here is undo. So undo, and it's back. So that's a nice feature. If I wanted to, I think I could undo even further by clicking it, kind of like a computer. Another thing you can do up here on this top margin is you can remove the grid. So I kind of like when I'm working on it to have the grid, because that way I can put it up here and I can see that this is about 5.5 by 5.5. That's a good size for me. I'm going to keep it that size. But when I get ready to transfer this, I'm going to remove the grid. I can also remove the ruler. Okay, so there we go. So now, how do I get this from my Craft Studio Elite into where I can use it to print it out on my Cricut and everything that I did in last week's video? So right over here on the top taskbar, we have Save As. So when I click Save As, I'm going to have to name this. So you can see my cursor's right down here where it says page 0, and I'm going to name this blue square. So I really don't care what my names are, but blue square is fine with me because I'm never going to click on this where I can't see the image. So I don't really, you know, I can give it a number if I wanted to. Now I'm going to click on desktop over here. I'm going to click on desktop again, and there's my files. And remember I told you I made this Minecraft Studio Designs? I'm going to go ahead and open that one. All right, now before I hit save, I want to come down here to save as type. Right now, this is a craft projects and it's got this code. I don't want it saved as that. I want it to be saved in a way that I can use it with my Cricut. So I'm going to hit this little arrow and I'm going to save it as a JPEG Pro quality JPEG. All right, now down in here you've got PNG quality, Pro quality, and it goes down to low quality. When I print it, I want it to be the high quality, so I'm going to choose the JPEG Pro quality. So once I've chose that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so this is where we are now. I'm going to go down here to my folder, open that up, come over here to my desktop, there it is, come over here to Minecraft Studio Designs, and right there it is, the very first one. You see I have done this one once before and I did it in red, but the one we just now did is this blue square. Okay, so from here, do you remember when we did our Cricut? So I'm going to, let's see if I can manage this. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to minimize this so that I can open Cricut. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out of this. I'm not going to save it because I've already saved it on my computer, so I don't need to save it here. All right. Now I'm going to open up Cricut. You're kind of seeing how I go about doing things, but that's okay. I've got my Cricut saved as a favorite, so here it is, and I am logged in. You can see up here. I'm going to do new project. And just like last week, we're going to do this the same way. We're going to go over here to upload. You can see here some of the things I've uploaded. These are all things that I have changed the color of, except for this peacock. So we're going to upload image. And then I'm going to, let's see if I can, well, minimize that. I'm going to X out of that. Okay, let's see here. Because, okay, you can see right here, I need to drag and drop it. I can't do it on the same screen. There's probably a way to half it, but I don't know how. Let's see. No. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just so that I can drag and drop from here. So now I'm going to open this back up. Sorry, did the wrong thing. I'm going to go to here and open this one back up. Now I'm just going to take this, I'm going to drop it into that browse window that I had open. I've got it on my other screen, but you can't see that one. I'll move it back over. All right. There we go. So all I did was drag and drop that onto this screen. It is a JPEG. Remember, we saved it as a JPEG. Do this. And I'm just going to hit continue. Okay, so remember last week when I moved those things over, we had this checkered background was around the whole thing. Now we have a white background. If we go ahead and load this on, when it cuts it out or when it prints it, it's going to print this white background, and we don't want that. So see this little tool right up here? I'm going to click on that, and that gives me a chance to crop this. So I don't want to put my cursor right above the image. I'm going to do it off to one side, and I'm going to stretch it just like this. All right, so what that did is it gave me less white. That helps the computer see all the different colors better. I found when I left it small, I'll show you what happened. You know, when you don't use the crop tool, I'll show you what happened after we do it the correct way. I'll go back and show you what happens when you do it when you don't do this step. So you have to turn the crop tool off and now do remove background. All right, now we're going to hit apply and continue. And here it shows us in multiple layers, the single layer and the flat graphic. We want the flat graphic. We'll hit continue. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and upload. This is a large image, so it does take a little bit to upload, but that's no problem. And there we go. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this down to 5.5. Or you know what, I think I'm going to make it 6 by 6. And you can see the little black oval up there tells me the size. Okay, there it is, 6 by 6. So I'm going to go over here to make. I don't need to save it. And I'll go ahead and print and cut. Sending it to my color printer. And you'll hear it doing its thing back over here. All right, from here, because this is a perfect square, I'm going to be able to cut that out myself with my paper cutter. So as soon as it prints, I'm going to come down here to cancel, and I'm going to cancel the cut. That way you don't have to listen to my Cricut go through all of its measuring and finding its spot, because we don't need to do that. My printer is firing up, so hold on and I'll go get our piece that we just printed. All right, so now since that printed just fine, I'm gonna go ahead and hit cancel and come up here, and yes, I want to cancel the cut. And I'm gonna go ahead and cancel right here, and I'm going to delete this from there. Okay, let's see the best way to do this. I'm going to minimize this one. I'm going to minimize this one. And let's see here. I'll open this one again. There we go. All right, now I'm going to show you what happened when I didn't do that step I showed you. So let's go back to Heartfelt Images. I'm going to go to the Peacock Paisley and the Elements, and I'm going to go all the way down here. I'm scrolling kind of fast, sorry. All the way down here to the daisies. I'm going to take this daisy and move it over. All right, oops. Sorry, it's thinking. There we go. And let's see, I'm going to go over here to Effects. I'm going to click Effects, go down here to Color, and I'm going to make this, let's see, I'm going to make it like a blue color to kind of go with this blue that I made before. I'm going to change my saturation again down just so it's a similar color to what I just did. And there we go. I didn't change it to inches, but you can do that. You can change the mode just like we did before. And I'm going to remove the ruler and the grid, and I'm going to go to Save As. Just like before, I'm going to call this Blue Daisy. I'm going to change this to the JPEG. I'm going to click on Desktop, and I'm going to choose the Minecraft Studio. There we go. I'm going to hit Save. And now I'm going to hit this. I'm going to say no. Open up my file here, and right here is our Blue Daisy. All right, so now down here you see my Cricut. And I'm going to go to Upload. Upload image. And again, I'm going to move this screen over just so I can transfer my... There we go. Now you see all my things. Well, nope, that won't work. We'll go over here. Taking that daisy over to load it on here. Close that out. Now here we go. Hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody. All I did was move my screen over to my other screen. That sounds confusing too. Okay, so here we've got it as a JPEG. We're going to hit continue, and this brings it to this screen. Now this is where before I hit the crop tool and I made the crop smaller. So let me show what happens when I don't use the crop tool and I just use remove background. All right. Now we're going to do apply and continue. And it didn't do it. Okay, well that's good. I will show you in a physical form when we switch cameras to what happened, but here's the flat graphic. Continue. It looks pretty good, so it didn't. Oh, I'll tell you when it comes around. Okay, see this right here? Sometimes, see these white spots in the flower? Sometimes when you do that step, it will cancel the white spots in the flower as if it's part of the background. And what that does, then when you go to print it, the knife, when you go to cut it, the knife will cut out that white spot. You know, all these in these flowers, some of these petals, it'll cut out whatever's white because it saw it as part of the background. And I found when I used the crop tool and made it larger, the computer was able to see the colors a little better, and it didn't do that. So hopefully that helps you, even though my sample here didn't show it to you. But we're going to go ahead and X out of this, and I'm going to show you some things from it. So let's go ahead and change to my workspace. All right. So I'll move my keyboard. I have a little fold-up keyboard. It's kind of convenient. So we'll move that out of the way. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I have made and colored. So as you can see here, we've got all kinds of things. I'm going to keep them in different piles because they're for different cards. But here is the original. This is one of the papers from the Peacock Paisley. And then here is one, the exact same paper, but I changed the color. And I did that color change in the Craft Studio Elite, which is the free program. So that is how I did that. What I like about this program is I can change all the colors at the same time, and I don't have to go in and click in each little area to get the color to change. So that is convenient. Now, I'll put this back with this. On an image like this, you can see that I have changed the color of this one. Let me show you. I've changed the color and the size. Here it is in its original form. And when I printed this and cut it out in its original form, no problem. It cut out, no issues. When I put it into my Craft Studio to change the color of it, it changed the color great, but when I went to remove the white background, all these little daisies around here, it wanted to cut those out separate. It didn't recognize it as part of the image. So everywhere where there's white around this, it took that away. And so like cutting out these little pieces down here, it wanted to cut those out individually instead of keeping it part of my image. So I ended up having to print it with the white background. Then I came in and I cut it out by hand. I had to fussy cut it. I never could find a way, no matter what I did, I could not find a way to get this to cut out without cutting out all the little images. Now there may be a way, and as I keep on this journey, I may eventually find a way to fix that. But so far, I don't know how. If any of you out there do, I would love it if you send me an email with step-by-step instructions of how to do it. It'll save me a lot of headache. Now another one that I finally gave up changing the color, I never could get it to work, was an image like this. When I tried to change the color on this and then print it out, every single time it cut these daisies out individually. I could not get it to, I finally gave up. So there's still a lot to learn. I figured out some things, but there's still a lot to learn. So let's see. This is one, I didn't go ahead and cut it, but you can see this one, I changed the color. It's this same image, and I tried to change the color so it would match these items. But when it cut out all these daisies individually. And I didn't know how. I tried and tried, and see up here it took away the black lines and all my tricks and things I knew how to do, and it never did. So I finally gave up on that. And then I wanted to show you this one. Remember that top bar in the color, how it changed it instead of changing the colors, like this is the original, this is when it changes the colors all together, but this is when it changes it to one single color and it's just the tones that are different. So that's just to kind of show you the different ways. And there may be a time in a project that I want to do it this way, but I wanted to show you the different ways. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you, that daisy that I color blue, it managed to do this where it didn't cut anything out. But I wanted to show you a flower where I didn't do that zoom feature, and you see right there, it cut out that white because the computer recognized that as part of the background for some reason. It didn't do it over here, but for some reason right there in that little spot, it called it background. And there were several times with several different flowers where it did this before I figured out doing that crop tool fixed this. So, okay, let's see. Some other issues I had when I tried to cut out to do this leaf, even when I did it direct from and not changing it, not putting it through my craft studio, I was never able to get this leaf to cut out any different than this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you want to make some cards with me using all my piles here of fun stuff, we're going to make some cards. So part 2 of this video will be the card making, and I would love to have you join me. But I hope this helped a little bit. If you're wanting to change colors, it works fantastic for your background papers and images like this. And I also wanted to show you our blue version. This was the blue version when it printed out, and like I said, I can just cut that with my paper trimmer, but you know, I can definitely use this with my blue peacock. So, okay. I hope you'll join me in part 2 of this video. Okay, so I hope that helps. And I'll keep working on it. And as I learn things, I will throw a video out there to share with you. And together we will tackle how to print and cut and color and all the fun things that we can do with these digital images. Do give me a thumbs up. And I love your comments if you will comment. If you have tips for me, like I said, I would love it if you go ahead and email me or contact me with those. And I look forward to just continuing this journey with the digitals with you. So join me in part 2 of this video. Bye-bye.